Welcome to King Lizard's Game Lounge and Dirt 4 community events. This is my first video for community events, and this is an Owners Club event. Now, basically community events are part of Codemasters RaceNet, and RaceNet is something that we've seen before in Grid 2, Grid Autosport, or the Formula 1 series of racing games, and basically it allows you to compete against the community. Now in this case within Dirt 4 we have 4 tiers of competition. So depending on how well you do on a particular event, you'll be placed in one of those 4 tiers. Tier 1 being the highest, Tier 4 being the lowest, and depending on which tier you land up in at the end of the event, you will get a certain amount of in-game credits. And those credits can be used to, further your team, employ, new members of staff for your team, or even buy new cars for additional Owners Club events like this one. So an Owners Club event, which is what I'm doing here, is basically a rally event where you have to own the car in your garage. Now if you don't own it, you can buy it, but obviously you need the credits ready to be able to do that. Once you have a car, you can go straight into the event and compete against the rest of the community. Now this event is an R2 class event, and I'm driving a Ford Fiesta. This rally is situated in Michigan, USA. It's a mid-length rally at 5.45 miles. It's a mixture of highly technical for the first 50% of the race and kind of fast technical for the other 50%. It's on light gravel as a surface, and I found that this Ford Fiesta was just a little looser than some of the other cars that I've driven in the game thus far, and it was hence just that little bit more difficult to get around the circuit. Dirt 4 has 6 viewpoints, so I actually drove this event internal from the cockpit using the steering wheel. There is actually another viewpoint inside the car that's on the dashboard, so you're looking through the windscreen right on top of the dashboard. There are 2 chase modes, obviously modes behind the car where you're viewing the outside of the car, one slightly closer than the other, which is quite typical of most racing games. And you've got a bonnet mode and a grill mode. The grill mode is obviously the mode where you just see the track, you don't see anything of your car. And obviously that's the mode that's going to give you the best sensation of speed, but obviously it's quite brutal in terms of reaction times. I actually drove this, as I said, in cockpit view, and I found it quite tough because this is mid-evening. It was very difficult to see some parts of the road, especially in the denser parts of the forest. So what I did in my later events was, obviously because this is a community event and it's all about competition, I figured that the internal mode that I used, which you just saw there, was actually restricting me a little bit, because I was a little bit reserved at going flat out on some of the corners because I couldn't really see the road that well. And obviously moving forward, I wanted to try and get the best viewpoint to allow me to drive as much speed as possible and still see the circuit, especially when it's night time or it's foggy. So what I did for future events is I actually switched to bonnet mode for the community events. I still race internal one and play against the AI and stuff, but against the community I now go bonnet mode, because that is actually the best mix of seeing the circuit and getting the sensation of speed, as well as helping you get through some of the tougher parts of the rallying, which is the really extreme weathers and stuff. The modes themselves, view modes, are really good. I found that for me the external mode is just a little intrusive. It kind of gets in the way when I'm driving, so looking at the car I kind of prematurely turn corners, or I'm a little bit early on my handbraking and stuff, because it's just not that kind of viewpoint I generally drive in. As I said, I always drive internal most of the time, but moving forward I'm going to stick to bonnet view, I think, because I'm just finding bonnet view that much better for me to negotiate the tracks and stuff. So a little bit of a tip there, a little bit of guidance based on the views in the game. The game itself is really good. If you like Dirt Rally, you're going to love this. There are other modes in it. You've got Land Rush, which is kind of big 4x4 vehicles. You've got buggies, you've got cross carts, which are smaller kind of buggies and stuff. To be honest, they're a bit of a distraction from the main event, which is really the rallying. They're okay, they're not bad events and stuff, and it's it's nice to have a bit of a mix-up in the campaign, but the real strength of this game is doing what it does best, which is rallying, and it really is top of the draw at the moment in any of the games out there. Is it an improvement on Dirt Rally? Yeah, in some ways, because you can actually, you've got the RaceNet community events and stuff, but you've also got a mode where you can actually create your own tracks and stuff and share them with the community, so there's a lot more if you're into like community-based events and competing against other people in this game, definitely. Well, I've had better finishes. I think I just killed 5 spectators spiders. The game is a little buggy right now from what I've seen. What you don't want to do is definitely scroll down the leaderboards at the end of doing your community events. Just finish the event, select that continue. Scrolling down the boards caused my game to crash twice and give me a DNF, so be careful of that. Anyway, I'll be back with more Dirt 4 soon. Please remember to click the like button and also subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. Take care, keep well, and keep watching.